Greetings and salutations. You are listening to the Into the North podcast, where we take a look at the competitive side of the Commander format, also known as CEDH. I'm one of your hosts, Morgan, aka Spleenface, and today, though Lyndon unfortunately couldn't be here, I am joined by my co-host Matt, aka Null.
What's up?
And Reed, aka Sick Robot.
Howdy, howdy.
And in this episode, we will be covering a series of totally not controversial opinions that we have, aka Hot Takes Part 2. Without further ado, let's jump into housekeeping. And, as always, we shout out our new patrons. So thank you to Kilgore Trout.
And Tim T.
You rock.
You rock. Yeah, a little late to the trigger there.
I think that's the first time I've actually been the one to lead the You rock, but Lyndon wasn't here.
You get to join the lawsuit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next up, we have new developments, and we have two. The first one is that the Time Twisted Tournament 4 took place. By the time this comes out almost a month ago, we're totally on the ball. But yours truly got second place in that event, and Reed died in pools like the scrub that he is.
Certainly did.
Playing the same deck.
Playing the same deck, exactly.
Played the same deck that we've played for every tournament for like the past 6 months. So both me and Morgan took, I think, the exact same configuration of Canadian Cheese Rush that we took to the NSL finals. And although we did various amounts of okay with it, I mean, I still had like a 25% win rate. I think it's just not enough to make day two.
And you also weren't exactly far from winning the game that we played.
No, I had the game that I won was like a game that obviously I won. I lost one game with Morgan that was certainly not out of my hands at all. It was basically just a game where everybody had a chance to win, and then I basically just had two unfortunate games where I think I went last for both of them and then mulled to oblivion both times. So, happens. Yeah. That's CDH. But congrats, Morgan. You're catching up to my legacy.
Exactly.
I'm closing in more and more and becoming washed every day.
It sounds like the more tournaments you enter, the worse it gets. So maybe you should just
stop it. Preserve the legacy.
All right, and then Reed, you want to talk about this second update?
Well, sure. Even though I'm the less informed of the two of us.
Start it off.
Yeah, so there's a new content creator group on the block, and in fact, it's a new content creator super group on the block, I'd say, is probably a more accurate way of putting it. It is the Mind Sculptors, being helmed by the irreverent Callahan. It's basically a collection of all your favorite content creators under one umbrella to make gameplay content, podcasts, live commentary, recorded commentary over gameplay, I think. What else? There's like a couple of other things that are happening.
People are looking at doing articles,
it's just a platform.
Your one-stop shop for
400-person Zoom lectures.
Exactly.
We'll be running college courses over the summer next year.
Boot camps.
Starting up a PhD program.
Summer camps.
Exactly. And Reed and I are both involved in that. I think, Reed, you were doing some commentary.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I've done some.
Actually, really great. I don't know if it's going to be out by the time this is done, but spoiler alert, doing some gameplay commentary. I know Morgan's been doing some gameplay and podcasting.
Yeah. Callahan works faster than we do, so it's entirely possible that all of this will be out well before
and we thank him for it.
Exactly.
I'll make sure to get some commentary down in the YouTube comment section, so just in case you're looking for that.
All right, but let's get into the main topic, which is the hotly anticipated Hot Takes Part 2. And this time, we have some hot takes from some very special guests that you might recognize from the rest of the CEDH community, sharing their hot takes with you, as well as ours.
Now, I am going to say I'm a bit sorry that we couldn't have Noobzors on this podcast. Unfortunately, just couldn't be here, but I will acknowledge that I believe he has the hottest of takes in the entire recording team here. So
I thought you were about to say, like, in the community. I was like, they had
Definitely
Dave
not-
on.
no,
They had Dave
definitely-
on for the last hot takes episode.
we
so I
certainly
don't
did
know
have
about
Dave
that.
on for the last episode, but I think out of the four of us, definitely has hotter takes.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
But we will try to get some Linden representation here.
It's those dang
All right.
finals,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. School is a lot of work, and
It's a trip.
actually, I will say, more important than CEDH podcasts.
That's
Only
That's-
slightly.
Start things off with a hot take, you know.
5 peppers. All right, Matt, do you wanna kick us off with your first hot take?
Absolutely. And I do want to say that my hot takes are in varying order of spiciness, and seriousness. So
we might just get a bomb right off the bat.
we'll start things off. This one's pretty tame. Timna Sakashima is the best Esper CDH deck.
4 peppers.
I was about to say that
Cool.
I take personal offense to that, but I've played Timna Ishai and it's not good. So I'll say like 3 peppers.
Yeah, you know what? I figured that's kind of where we'd land. I'm not going to go with the spiciest one yet, but that may have been
Alright.
the first time that sentence has ever been uttered.
All right, Reed, what you got?
All right. I'm not sure how. Okay, I'm not trying to discount this. I'm just saying I'm not sure how hot this is. I know it's just likely to make some people angry. But if winning a tournament is your primary motive, there's no reason to play less than 3 colors.
1 pepper.
Yeah. Two or 3 peps.
Yeah,
This was sort of designed to make Lyndon angry, but he's not here, so we'll have
Yeah,
to
that is a
wait
shame.
for everybody listening to this
It's
to
so
spam
much-
me in the comments.
it's so much harder to bait Lyndon when he's not here. All right, here's my. I'm ready for a specific server to fucking mob me.
This is basically hate mail the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Even ready for this? Even Sultai Frog wouldn't be a top tier contender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the problem with this is that I'm gonna give this like 2 peppers. Because I mostly agree with that.
I don't think I agree. That sounds like a strong archetype.
Honestly, I feel like Jun Frog is actually better
Okay, I don't know about
in
that.
a lot of ways. Is that the hotter take?
You just get to cut
I don't know, dude.
all
Frog
the,
with
like-
breach? That sounds nuts.
Yeah.
Durable dockside and frog? Oh my god.
I mean,
I don't know, dude.
The thing is,
feel
Frog
like-
just already gets there. I feel like you don't have to breach into a combo. It just kind of
I
already
can't decide
gets there.
if like what I want to say is explaining or defending the take, which kind of makes me not want to say it. You know?
Yeah, we can have just, defenseless takes. I'm into it.
Yeah, that's. I feel like it's
Just
better.
no
You get a
context takes.
pepper
All right.
score and that's it.
All right. I guess we'll play our first guest take, which comes to us from Brayden of the CEDH cast.
Opposition Agent is not very powerful in decks that aren't actively trying to slow down the game, or can at least protect it using powerful counter spells like Fierce Guardianship or Force of Will.
Wow, I must say, what a beautiful voice. I am.
Silken.
I'm gonna go with 2 peps. This isn't the hottest take I can think of for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with somewhere around 2 peppers, I think. It's like maybe 3 peppers. I feel like it's definitely like good. It's just like there is downside to playing creatures.
All right, this is at least a 4 pepper take for me.
Wow.
Like, it's the thing is, you don't need to defend it because it's so hard to remove because people can't tutor removal, and
Yeah, that's fair.
like often stealing 1 tutor is like that's like basically a counter spell and a threat, right? Like you got to interact and stop someone from winning, but then you also got to win with 1 card.
And you also get to put a stranglehold into play.
Yes, and it's very hard to counter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I think I'd only agree with that right now, but I think the more we see opposition agent, the more this take is going to be more accurate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the meta develops around opposition agent.
Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm.
Oh.
No, but that doesn't kill
Pyroclasm.
Draenei.
Dude, yeah. Don't say pyroclasm until I make one of my next tech.
But Morgan,
takes.
nobody plays white anymore. Red is so much better.
And then I guess we have a listener take, and this one comes to us courtesy of Kixar. And
Should I read this one out?
Sure.
This take is that Spleen is one of the nicest people in the CDH community.
2 peppers.
I love that it's not, Spleen didn't even give this 1 pepper. This was still some level of spice. He's even Morgan's conceding some ground on this one.
If you think, if you think Spleen's being nice to you, then you should start listening. You know, I'm just kidding.
If you think Spleen's being nice to you, you just don't know him well enough.
Yeah, if you think he's letting you cast that time twister, it's because he wants to win. I've learned that lesson.
All right, so what are your pepper ratings?
Yeah, besides infinite, I don't know.
I'd say if it's 5 peppers, it's 5
It's
peppers.
definitely not more peppers than 2. Like,
No, yeah, I'd say like
you're not
2 is
half bad.
probably
You know?
correct.
You're not half bad.
All right, I'll take it. I was expecting like 4 peppers. All right. I guess we're back at the start again. So
Yeah.
Matt, hit us with the spice.
All right. You aren't trying hard enough to get Hull Breacher into play. And I'm talking like you are not trying hard enough.
I feel like that's less of a hot take and more just a hard call out.
Maybe. I don't know.
Unfortunately, I have to concede that this is 1 pepper.
Yeah.
He's right. I'm not.
Yeah, just change my mind. I can't. That is correct.
Yeah.
I don't. If you're not, you gotta be playing Vanifar Birthing Pod finale. Just anything that you can.
I wouldn't go as far as
Dude.
Vanifar, don't worry.
Honestly,
Ouch.
actually, I'm not sure that this is true.
Unless
if I'm
it's in the
playing
command
Aether Vial
zone.
to put it into
Unless
play.
it's in the command zone.
What if I'm playing Aether Vial to put it into play?
But you're not. You're playing Aether Vial to put other things in play. Don't lie to us.
All right, I will concede this point. Honestly, I'm gonna put this at like 3 peppers, just because I'm not sure how much deck space you actually do want to dedicate to getting it into play
Yeah, that's fair.
in a lot of decks.
My 1 pepper was kind of was at least partially a joke, but
Yeah, I'm not sure like how many decks can actually afford to put like finale into their deck or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's a fair
Like
point.
how many decks
Like,
actually want to play Chord to put it into play?
Yeah, once you start looking at like multiple units of green mana in your spells, then you're probably near the peak. But it's not like it's
You're probably trying hard enough at that point.
I'm just kind of saying like you're not being proactive enough with Hull Breacher. Like you should be thinking about, if you're not actively trying to win out of your opening hand, then just slam a Hull Breacher as hard as you can.
so
Anyway.
really your take is that Hull Breacher is a viable backup plan?
Yeah.
Hull Breacher, not even Hull Breacher
Well,
real,
no,
just Hull Breacher.
Yep.
Viable primary plan, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll go for this one first. Dockside being overpowered is your fault for not adjusting your deck building.
No, that's 5 peppers.
That's high
like
spice.
it being absolutely obscene, yes, but it's still, even with like reasonably low artifact and enchantment count decks and moderately careful play, it's still an absurdly good card.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna defend that take. I'm gonna let that one stand on its own.
All right. Sorry, Matt. Did we get your peppers?
Oh, Yeah, I don't know, 5 or 6. I mean, dude, that's
6 peppers.
that's up there. Like that's on the cusp of, just wrong. But it's not. It's not just wrong.
It's not quite there. It's not quite being in false statement territory. It's still a take.
Yeah, you've done a great job at illustrating the ceiling of spicy takes, pretty much.
Well, I don't know. This next one is this next guest take, which comes to us from Callahan of the Mind Sculptors.
Hi, this is Callahan from the Mind Sculptors, and my hot take is that Gristlebrand, most of the stuff on the ban list, but most importantly, Gristlebrand would be totally fine and should get unbanned in Commander.
Okay. Okay, so there's 2 angles here, I think. Like, as far as popularity of the take, I don't think it's that unpopular. But as far as like the message that you're conveying, it's like extremely spicy, right? To the point of not being right.
I think a lot of people have this wrong opinion. So it's not even controversial, but
it's not controversial, but it is wrong.
Exactly.
It's possibly the most widely accepted bad opinion.
The most widely held incorrect opinion.
I'll give this 3 peppers.
Yeah, I think that's fair. 2 to 3.
I'll give it like 4. Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere in the middle. It's not 1. It's not 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Somewhere around there.
I think these next 2 listener, well, this one's not really a listener take, but these have to come as a pair. So should we do some role play? I'll read out Noobsworth's take, and then Matt, you read out Shaper's take.
Yeah,
who has the best Lyndon impression?
I've never practiced it.
I've always had access to Lyndon, and so I didn't need to impersonate. Okay.
Hey, Lyndon, can you read this real quick?
Lyndon says, "Cantrips are overplayed. They aren't as good as everyone thinks."
Okay, so I guess we react to this, or do we go on the next one first?
I feel like we don't even need to react because we just have the perfect reaction.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Okay, reaction from Shaper. Cantrip haters can call me back when Vintage unrestricts Ponder and Blue decks stop running an average of 3 preordains.
It's duality's beautiful.
Yeah, and let's look at these timestamps.
Actually, Shaper's was a lot earlier than Lyndon's, but
3 months apart.
I actually think I flip-flop a lot on this, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of in both extremes. So I'd say it's like a deck thing. I don't know.
Dude, I cut them and then feel guilty and then put them back in, and then like I like them a lot less in dork decks for sure.
Yeah, that's a big one. Specifically Thrasios
then I have
decks.
something I want to do on turn 1 that isn't cast a cantrip, but
I only don't like want to play cantrips in exactly rule of law decks. I think like any other deck should be playing cantrips. Maybe not like opt or like anything down there, or like sleight of hand or whatever, but like goddamn dude. Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain.
Dude, in the new Hull Breacher world, sleight of hand is basically better than Preordain.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. It's like just wrong to not play cantrips and breach decks. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, it's like I play a lot of creature decks, so I have the same opinion as you, Morgan, but it's just wrong if you're playing breach. Like, you have to play cantrips and breach.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. All right, I think we're back at Nat. Hit us with it.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, this one's funny. I think. Stop playing Stax pieces that aren't Trinisphere.
Oh my god.
You're not doing what you're trying to do.
5 peppers.
It's like 5 or 6 peppers.
Trinisphere's like the most dangerous Stax piece.
An insanely hot take.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, yes. What, you don't want to play Archon of Amiria in your Stax decks? Are you kidding me? I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
Curse Totem,
Sorry.
Collector Oof.
I mean, you're saying my Stax decks, which is just never going to be a thing. I'm never gonna
Well, I
be
was
playing a
saying-
dedicated Stax deck.
I was saying like any Stax deck. Oh my god, there's just so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Reese, what you got?
Oh my god. All right. If you play Oracle plus Consult, you're not as good of a pilot as you think you are.
One pepper.
One pepper. I don't think anyone's as good a pilot as they think they are.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know what playing Oracle and Consult has to do with it, but
This is like a whole episode, so it's a one pepper take, but there's a lot to say. You know. It's a
all right.
it's a
Mine,
very
okay, I feel like this isn't it's not spicy, but I feel like it's trying to illustrate the point that you know what, I'll just say I'll give the spicy version. Adnaz being an instant is the single most overblown thing in the CEDH community.
One pepper.
I think there are things that are more overblown than that.
There's at the current point in time, I do not think that like Adnos being an instant has pretty much any bearing on how good of a card it is the issue.
No, but I guess
Like it
yeah.
being overblown, but yeah, like that's what I'm saying though, is that like it's like a lot of people think it's a lot better than it is because of instant speed.
Yeah, the
Okay,
other
yeah.
wording was just there's no deck that currently runs Nas that wouldn't if it was a sorcery. But
Yeah.
I felt like that was even less controversial.
Yeah, I guess I'm on like I'll say two peppers. There's a valuable message there.
All right, and then we've got a take. Actually, should we do both of these together from CEH Brazil? Like,
yeah,
or just like one
sure.
immediately after the other?
Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
The first one.
Dogs are so last year.
Well, isn't Dockside also this
That
year
is-
too?
Darkside's every year since it's been released.
Honestly, I feel like it's almost more this year than it is last
Yeah,
year.
I would actually fully agree with that. I think
Like-
that like when Dockside was released with Flash Hulk still existing, it was like much less in than it currently is.
Yeah, and I think also like for the first while after it was released, people were like, it's a good ritual, and it also like they were like, it's really good to play once, and it's really good to play infinite times. And almost nobody was like, it's really good to play 3 times, which I think is what a lot of those decks have moved towards.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a 2020 development where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll play Phantasmal Image and I'll play like Snap and like focus on bounce spells that bounce my own stuff and replay Dockside. That's new.
Yeah. I think this is probably a 4-pepper take in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm solid with 4 peppers.
I concur.
Unless he thought that this episode was coming out in 2021, in which case potentially 1 pepper.
Yeah,
but
sure.
all right, and the next one we have is
Hey guys, it's Peter from CDH Brazil. My hot take is that with the uprising of Grixis farm decks, people should stop using Forbidden Orchard in their decks.
I'm not sure how much of a hot take this is rather than just an acute observation.
okay. I'm gonna give
That
this.
being said, yeah, go for it.
So I'm gonna give this 3 peppers because I still think that there's enough. Like, it's still reasonably consistent that there's someone that you don't mind giving the spirits to, and it's like a non-painful 5-color producing land that enters untapped is absurd. But I actually love like the thought process behind this take and like the sort of introspection that it shows on like, here's something that's been widely accepted as a staple, but like maybe we should go back and look at what we think we know again.
So agreed, but also I think that it doesn't actually matter that much when Rogue Rack exists, and that's what's going to be Grixis Termodos. Is like they have the body anyway for the most part. I'm not sure how much the extra bodies matter. Maybe they do, but you know. So 3 to 4 pepper take.
Yeah, solid 3, I think.
Next up, we have a listener take from Wombat. Matt, do you want to read this one?
Sure. Dovin's Veto is better than Mana Drain in CDH.
4 peppers.
Yeah, that's I don't know about that.
Surprisingly enough, I think depending on the deck, this is like a 2-pepper take.
I think that being uncounterable has actually gotten a lot worse, like in exactly the time frame since Dovin's Veto was printed.
I think that's probably correct, actually.
The amount of uncountable spells that you can counter in this format right now.
Yeah.
We'll make an uncountable counterspell. I remember when this was spoiled, we were like, this is insane. This is so good. And then it's like, Veil of Summer, fucking Allosaurus,
Deflecting Sword,
Destiny Spinner, Deflecting Sword. Oh,
so much.
I don't think I haven't put a misdirection in every single deck I've brewed since like we've seen these cards. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm retracting my statement. This is like a 4-pepper take now.
All right. I think this brings us back to where we started.
Yeah.
So, Matt, what you got next?
Opposition Agent. Do you guys want to try to finish this one?
No,
I'm just kidding.
There were so many potential.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate because my take this round is also partially about opposition.
Okay, this one isn't too bad. Maybe it is. Opposition Agent is great for the format.
That's a 5-pepper take.
That's a 3-pepper take.
So
Which itself might be a 5-pepper take, but
I originally was like, okay, Opposition Agent is dumb and it's gonna make this format lame. But I think that's just Hull Breacher, man. I think Opposition Agent is fine.
I
it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit too good and not a lot too good for like. I think that kind of stacks effect is healthy, but I think that it is too good at countering it. Like, yeah, I guess that's.
I mean, it's too asymmetrical, and there's too much upside to just having it.
For me, I think it's the
so
upside
unhealthy.
that's like the big issue. All right, Reed, what do you got?
All right, let's go with this one. 5-color brews are either uninteresting or unplayable.
Does this exclude exactly Najila? Like, are we not
5-color
calling that a
brews.
brew?
It's not an established deck. I'm talking about any new brews it's binary, either uninteresting or unplayable. There's no in between.
Two peppers.
2 peppers, yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, it's
Actually,
hard to find an interesting
I'm gonna
5-color
upgrade that to
deck.
3 peppers. I think that like these sort of Staxy hate bearer brews are not unplayable and at least have some measure of interest for me.
Yeah, I don't think
secondary take. I think Dubscape is unplayable.
Okay, I think I agree with that, but like
Sorry, what? Did you say Dubscape?
Correct.
What?
Cobblepot made it to the semifinals of the Time Twisted tournament playing a Kenrith deck with Dubscape in it.
Oh no.
And
I'm
it
surprised
must have
you have
worked,
not
right?
seen that.
I think he got it on turn 2 in one game, which is kind of funny, but anyways.
Show and tell.
All right, my take also related to Opposition Agent, which is for Notion Thief, Aven Mind Sensor, Opposition Agent, Hull Breacher, whatever, you should take what you can get. And that means when your opponent cracks a fetch, play your Opposition Agent.
Yeah, I feel like over my experience with the card, it's like a 2-pepper take. It's like pretty accurate to how I've seen it be good, just because like everybody's aware of like Opposition Agent being a possibility now and is usually going to play around it a bit, so you might as well just take it while you can get it.
I think I'm gonna go with like three pepper because I think it isn't kind of just a binary. Like, I don't think it's as simple as a binary decision. Like, is your opponent playing a card that tutors play your op? It's like it's not as simple as that. Like, I think there is a level of bluffing it there is a good way of playing opposition agent, which isn't just eagerly playing it into a search effects.
All right.
Leave it there.
Next up, we have a take from Sinestra.
So my first hot take is I think that the Grixis core is usurping the Sultai core in CDH.
Honestly, like 2 peppers.
I think in terms of popular opinion, like 0 peppers, but in terms of
actual,
I think
fact.
I'd give it a 3 in terms of like my own personal opinion.
Yeah,
I think
I'm on 3 too.
As much as green has been getting broken in half in other formats, I'm not actually sure how much it's been getting recently in CDH compared to red. So I think like I sort of agree with this.
Okay, but does the Sultai core include Thrasios in it?
Yeah, that's kind of I mean, I think that like the other thing is that if you look at actually Grixis versus Sultai, they're just like Grixis's commanders are just so much better.
Yeah.
But like I think it would be very interesting to see. Could you imagine if you could play Neoform and Worldly Tutor and all that stuff in Inala? Oh my god.
Yeah, that'd be
All
Oh
right
my
there,
God.
buddy. All right there, buddy.
0 peppers on that take. No, okay, actually, yeah, 3 peppers.
All right. And
I
then
guess we should.
Do a listener question.
Do a
or
listener
Okay,
take,
I have
guess,
a
listener
quick
take.
joke one that I wrote down. Thunderfart
Alright.
says Goreclaw is actually underestimated. I figured I'd have to say that on behalf of Lyndon.
honestly, that's a 0 pepper take. Like, you know, I give it a 0 out of 10 and it's actually a 2 out of 10, so fair.
Calling it absolute trash is a bit just a
Yeah.
bit
No,
underrated.
no. It's absolute trash. It's just not burning trash. Like, it's not on fire. It's still a pile of garbage, but not a flaming pile of garbage. Matt?
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were going to actually go for a legitimate.
No.
listener
I mean,
question.
let's
we can space them out.
Let's space it
more.
out.
I think we're
Let's go.
getting. We don't have a ton of listener ones,
Yeah.
so
All right.
that we've got here. So
Legacy's allure. Do I need to continue?
Well, I don't know if you're being positive about it or negative about it.
Yeah.
Is the issue here?
Yeah. Well, I guess the listener can insert their own opinion there, but can we
wait, is
just
your hot take just Legacy's allure?
can we just not anymore? Can we just decide that? Can we just shadow ban Legacy's allure, guys? It's not a good card, and it's just a trap.
Yeah, that's 1 pepper. That's 1 pepper when they just printed 2 3 power disgusting hate bears.
Yeah. Maybe a year ago I would have said that's less, but like
no, it
not
was
being
it
able
was
to not be able to take Hull Breach or opposition agent.
the only
definitely just
time it
sucks.
wasn't a spicy take was like exactly when Dranith Magistrate was the most recently printed
Yeah.
card that was relevant in the format.
No, but Dalkin Shackles on the other hand.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
All right, Reed. What you got?
All right. My next I'm trying to pick over. All right. Actually let's do this one because this is a related take, I think. The only reason people think that mono blue as a color combination is playable is because Urza exists and they forgot about the rest of the commanders.
But the
I
only
have to
reason-
give this 4 peppers because there was a gap where I think that was somewhat true, but there was also a very long time when other mono blue commanders were playable.
I'm talking about current right
Yeah,
now.
I'm going down. Wait, I'm like 1-2 peppers. Like that's right. Like I
I
feel
think
like
it's right now, but like I don't know.
like are we gonna see mono blue besides Urza? Like I
Well, I mean,
seriously
I
doubt
guess
it.
like I mean, I don't think mono. You know, I'm not going to say anything else because I don't want to
also-
spoil my upcoming takes.
Also, side
Okay.
take, Urza is, I think, the best mono blue commander that will ever be printed. I don't think there will be a better mono blue commander than Urza
yeah,
ever
it'd
printed.
be surprising. Okay, well, I have a related take, I guess. I feel like it's worth tacking on, but blue is bad in large quantities.
Okay, that's a 4-pepper. That's a 4-pepper take.
I guess it depends on what you mean by large quantities. But
Blue is the easy. Okay, like if I have a 3-color deck and I've got like 90 cards that I know I'm playing, blue is the easiest and probably the best color to fill those last 10 cards with. Like if you look at blue decks, a lot of them, even in like 3 colors, are like 50% plus blue.
I definitely
And I
agree
don't
that
think
they're
that's
the
wrong.
easiest cards to add. That's for sure.
All right. Oh, I can't decide with which one I want to do next. You know what? I mentioned Kess, so we'll go with this one. You're at least as bad as you think Kess is.
I feel like this is post-shadowing to the last time we talked about
Yep.
Grixis Commanders.
Grixis in general.
Is this a call out? Is this a hot take?
It could be a bit of
No
both.
los dos.
That's like a 3-pepper take, I think.
Yeah. 3 because of the delivery.
Touche. All right. Next up, we have Leptis.
Hello guys, this is Leptis from the CEDH Finland's Twitch stream, also known as twitch.tv/Leptis. My hot take is, coming from a guy who likes to bring out old school tech from time to time, is that High Tide I think never actually became a bad CEDH deck archetype. It just fell out of use because people were too focused on their consult lists and their tainted backed mana bases. So now it's almost 2021, I think it's time to bring out the blue storm back as opposed to just playing docksides all the time with your ad nauseams. Hashtag 2016 Boomer Club. Yeah boy.
I think 3-4 peps? 3-4 peppers?
I feel like
Honest-
it's 5 peppers if you're in your early or mid 20s and call yourself part of a boomer gang. But
Yeah.
Honestly, as part of the mid old guard, I'm not actually part of the old guard, but I get it. I honestly sort of agree with this sentiment. It's like a 2-pepper take.
I think honestly it's like a 2-pepper take. I mean, I've played a High Tide in a Tainted Pact deck. It wasn't strictly good, but the
I don't
deck
think it's
actually
bad.
okay.
Besides
I
the
don't-
fact that you love to manually storm, like, are you ever going to be playing Time Spiral or Mind's Desire?
Well,
Or is that
I
just
mean-
not a fair question?
I mean, what do you mean besides the fact that I love to manually storm?
Like, besides the fact that, like, you'll force a manual storm deck because that's how you enjoy playing the game, versus you think a manual storm deck is
but
actually
you
a
can't-
viable
but Matt,
way of
you
building a
can't
deck?
say- You can't say aside from his love to manually storm, because that's all Morgan has.
okay,
Okay,
That's a
fine.
defining characteristic.
No, I think, well, at least not in the current meta where, like, actually trying to build up that many islands is, like, kind of an issue.
Trying to play past turn 3.
Yeah, but, like, I honestly could see there being a meta. I think if people... I could see there being a meta where essentially people make it really hard to play artifacts, and then you can actually play, like, instant and sorcery-based storm decks much more reasonably. Like, the games get
Yeah, like
slowed
non-
down, and then, like, you're like, well, I can't play, like Adnaz becomes a lot less good, and then you like, can play, you know, with a null rod and play, you're like, cool, High Tide, Frantic Search, like, whatever. I think there's a possibility.
So what you're
if they printed like a couple more collector roofs, basically.
So what you're trying to say is that people should play more collector oofs so that you can play more Kickar.
Well, a collector roof is pretty rough against Kickar. Maybe not Kickar, but
Well, there's probably some Kickar builds where you can be good into collector oof, though. I'm assuming. With,
I mean, the
instant
problem is that
sorcery-based
like
stuff.
the problem is that all the good cheap non-creature spells are artifacts.
Sure.
Oh, I could build like a Kess variation that would be good into collector roof.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to print the artifact creature stacks storm enabling commander. I'd love that.
Yeah,
If
collecting from the
Arkellos were in
command
Grixis, then
yeah, there we go. All right. I guess we've got another listener take, and oh boy.
Oh, this is
So, admittedly, this is before, like, comfortably before the printing of Opposition Agent, but it was still spicy back then.
yeah. I don't honestly, I'm not sure the pepper rating has actually changed even with the printing of
I think
Opposition
it's from
Agent.
5 to 5. But
Yep.
Yisan deserves a place in Tier 1, and people hate on the deck because it is wrongly considered a beginner deck, and they have bad experiences with inexperienced Yisan players, and people are afraid to deviate their lists to have a better matchup against their meta. And
Which comes
I'm
from
now
Phoenix.
blanking. I'm not sure if I said this was from Phoenix.
Yeah. 5.
Five.
yeah,
Five.
five, yeah.
5.
No, 5 and no further comments.
yeah, okay, no comments, fine. Like, I
All
think,
right, Matt.
okay, I have a comment. I have to say,
Oh, come on.
but it's like
Ruined
it's not that bad.
Soiled
Like,
it.
it's wrongly considered a beginner deck because I think it's originally
Yeah, I
being
agree with
considered a
that.
good budget deck, and
Yeah,
there is some confusion there between budget meaning beginner.
It also, I think people think that decks without counter spells are automatically good beginner decks, and
I don't think that's correct. Especially not when every turn involves looking through your library
Yeah,
for
exactly.
like through like 15 options.
like I will agree that people hate on the deck because it's wrongly considered a beginner deck, but that I don't think that
No,
makes
it has like a pretty high skill min.
yeah. All right, Matt, hit us with that
Yes.
spice.
Yeah, I have to say that one. Okay, this is a fun one, guys. Remember back before COVID when you could play, IRL? You should be
Yeah, in real
randomizing seat order before every game.
5 pepper take. I don't want to get up.
That's exactly what I was thinking you'd say, or you guys would say. Because the more you get into Magic, the bigger your bag needs to be. So
Yep.
the more it
Especially
becomes
on, like,
inconvenient.
in a Toronto winter where like just like admittedly
floor
not
is
as
Yeah,
bad
you
as
take
like
your jacket
prairies.
off, you drape it over the back of
Yeah.
your chair. You have your
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You end up like taking your long sleeve off as well because it gets sweaty because there are a bunch of nerds in the room. You have to pick up everything and like move around the table. No,
Matt,
thanks.
how could you say something so controversial yet so brave? I think I have to give this 3 peppers because he's right. It's just like the worst thing about
It's just why would you have to expose that fact to the world, Matt? Because
Let's just get a
everything
little
gets
exercise.
worse.
it was so much better when we could all pretend that wasn't true.
Why don't we just channel our laziness and build a transforming table that automatically shuffles us without us needing to move?
Guys, okay, here's the real hot take. You should just play out of your actual seating order.
Oh my god.
All right, Reed, what's your take?
All right. This one is connected to actually no, you know what? I'm gonna save that one. We're gonna go with this one instead because it's a bit less peppery. Mana Drain is overplayed.
5 peppers.
Yeah, I'm
That card's underplayed.
4 peppers? 3 peppers?
Counter creatures is really good. The mana's nice. Counter creatures is really good.
You should be
Yeah,
bullying
yeah.
people. You should be bullying people more and playing less interaction and playing more one-man interaction.
Guys, remember that time people didn't say Reed was black when we were like, what color is everyone in the podcast?
I actually can't believe that I didn't come out top in as black color.
I honestly don't remember what my arrangement was now.
Me and you came out as blue in people's minds.
Yeah.
Your secondary was white. Morgan came out as black.
Yeah.
And then
I don't
somehow Lyndon came out green instead of red. I have no idea.
All right.
Yeah,
I think by the just as a follow up to that,
'Kay,
you all
guys,
suck. I think Lyndon is so obviously red.
Okay, I've literally teased this take. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I want to phrase it. But Behold the Beyond is a 7-mana black sorcery that wins the game, and apparently those are playable now.
Is that a hot take or a call out?
Yes.
Yes.
For those who aren't familiar,
yeah.
Behold the Beyond is 5 black. Discard your hand, search your library for 3 cards, and put them into your hand.
The question is, what do you get with Behold from Beyond that just wins?
It's, I mean,
What?
it's
I mean,
incredibly easy to set up the breach lines.
So-
What, you just like, you have like 1 extra mana and then you go for like Mox Dockside Adnos?
I mean, Petal is probably better.
Sure,
Mox.
like Petal. 8 mana win the game. Huh. You know, it doesn't discard as a cost either. Yo,
Exactly.
farm boys, get on it.
And it can't be deflecting, swatted, or hit with Notion Thief or Hellbreacher.
Exactly. That being said, this is quite possibly the worst card to cast into an opposition agent ever created.
That is,
I mean, it doesn't
then you
lose-
discard
oh,
as a
yeah,
cost.
yes.
Yes, I
Intuition
would like to
because you-
discard your entire hand and Praetor's Grasp all of your win cons in one go.
Literally the Kingmaker card. Yeah.
If I'm not winning, like if I can't win, then he's gonna win.
So, how many peppers?
I don't even remember what the original phrasing of the take was, honestly. If
I feel like it's like a 4 pepper take, 3 pepper take, 4
Yeah.
pepper
Well, I
take.
didn't even get to 5 with that. Okay.
Morgan,
I'll give you
it's-
5.
It's
No,
a
I'll give you
5
5.
pepper.
That's-
It's
that's
a
a lot.
5 pepper take when you choose to play Behold the Beyond in one of your decks.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have guest content creator Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan Jones, otherwise known as the Hermit Druid on Twitter. And my hot take is, just because you're good at something doesn't give you the right to be a cunt.
This is definitely one that should be 0 peppers, but I feel like is at least 2.
Yeah, unfortunately enough.
This is kind of just like a life take.
Yeah. It's just something that people need to hear.
Yeah.
2 peppers.
Yeah.
I wish there was 0 peppers, but we don't live in that world, unfortunately.
Yeah, based on relevance, 2
Yeah.
peppers.
All right. And then I believe Reed has a listener take for us. Or
I
guess
do.
not exactly a listener. But
Yeah, we had some more Noobzor's Linden representation here. This take is that the direct quote from Noobzor's, I like the new Karn art, of course, referring to the Double Masters Borderless, or new Karn Liberated art, which, whoo boy, we'll be displaying on screen in the YouTube video.
Yeah, we found our thumbnail.
Not great. Not a good one. I think this one is obviously a 5 pepper take. Somebody should take away Noobzor's license for purchasing cards. I don't think he has good enough taste to appreciate card art.
Okay, I would only agree with you if it were worded as the new Karn art is good art. But the fact that it says I like the new Karn art,
Yep.
meaning
I mean, it's 100% factual, right? We can't.
like would I if I were to bet that Lyndon liked it or not, 2 peppers.
All right. You know what? I'll give this 1 pepper. People can like whatever art they want.
That's very fair of you.
All right.
Oh yeah, back into it.
Hit us with it.
So I picked a listener question that matched up exactly with my take in the exact opposite way, so I'll just go with it. Savine's Reclamation doesn't fix your intuition pile.
Is that Wait, is that just incorrect?
No. I'll give that 2 peppers.
Is the intended meaning of this that Savine's Reclamation doesn't make intuition better?
I mean, I don't think it makes it better. I think like the way I understand it is more like Savine's Reclamation in and of itself doesn't take the card from unplayable to playable.
Yeah.
Is that a fair translation, man?
For sure.
It's like a 2 pepper take, 1 pepper take. I think that I do think intuition is historically underrated and people just have no idea how to use it.
I mean, I think I posted in the Hot Takes channel a while back. Your deck doesn't need an intuition pile to play intuition, but yeah.
It was wasn't that one of the it was one of the gut checks recently, wasn't it? Or something along those lines.
We've definitely talked about intuition recently.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly when or why, but all right, Reed.
All right. So this is actually a callback to, I forget which episode it was, but it was a gut check. Or it might have been a listener question. Anyway, my hot take is that metamorphic alteration is underplayed.
Let me just do some Google searching.
Question mark, peppers?
Metamorphic alteration is, I will read it out, is a 1
peppers.
in a blue enchantment aura, enchant creature.
Strictly incorrect.
As metamorphic alteration enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of chosen creature.
Strictly incorrect. I'm not even giving this a pepper rating, it's just wrong.
Is it underplayed?
I was
think
looking it
it's
up. I'm like, wait a minute. Is it the card I think it is? Yes, it is the card I think it is. Yeah, strictly wrong.
I'll give you 5. I think it's once again,
Nice.
fringing on just being incorrect, but I think that playing it isn't necessarily 100% damaging your deck, as Morgan seems to be implying.
All right, this one I will admit is also it's not a call out.
all of Morgan's takes are just
no.
just
Actually, this one's not a call out. This one's actually this one is not a call out.
Just all subtweets to varying degrees.
People will react to it as if it's a call out. Frog, the Get Rug monster, is more of a farm deck than 90% of decks labeled farm.
0 peppers. Farm has lost all meaning.
0.5 peppers.
No, but like in the actual meaning of farm, not just people label everything farm.
No, like I still think that's great. I think Gatrog is incredibly farmy actually.
Like,
all right.
You took a big bite of a pepper and it's just the stem left. That's how much I've got for you.
All right. Next up, we have this take from Rebel. Also, kind of not from Rebel, of Mental Misplay.
Hey guys, I had this getup already done for other content stuff, so I figured I might as well record a video for you guys, just in case you want it. If not, you can rip the audio. I also don't really have any good hot takes, so Ano actually gave me this one, so I'm gonna steal it. If you want to credit him, you can, but you don't have to. My hot take is playing wheels in a Dorks deck is borderline suicidal. I actually don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
Okay, is this one a call out? It maybe just feels like a call out because just because of the deck that we've. I mean, I don't know, man. It seems to work. I think this one gets 4 peppers from me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with 3 peppers because
this is a call out of 5.
Wheels feel a lot worse when you don't have a haste enabler in your command zone or in play.
And yet somehow,
here we are.
I think that if the take would be a lot less spicy if it was like Windfall doesn't belong in CST,
yeah.
But I think that this is so broad that I can't get on board. All right. Matt, hit us with that listener take.
Yeah. As I had mentioned, related to what I just mentioned, Savine's Reclamation is one of the best white cards and doesn't see enough play. And
I'm gonna go 1 pepper on the first half and 4 peppers on the last half. That's the sad state that white's in.
Yeah. Like this card, this comment must have been written after Drannith was printed, right? Like I don't remember the timeline exactly, but there are just so many good white cards.
Yeah.
that are better than this card.
This would have been like around the time that probably Drannith hadn't been spoiled, because Zendikar came out in April and this is from March. But dude,
okay.
the real hot
benefit
take
of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt here.
The real hot take is that we're like presenting takes from before certain cards were printed now is basically quote mining.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, dude,
it was definitely unintentional. We just like
if a take only gets hotter over time, doesn't that just mean that it's aging well?
Aged like milk.
Okay, so if I'm going to say that the list of best cards is relative to the list of good cards, then it's not one of the best white cards. But if it's like of the best CDH staples and you take the white ones, sure.
Like one of the most played white cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there aren't very many played white cards
at the moment. Dude, people just have to get on the abeyance train and then we can kick Savine's Reclamation out of the top 5 or whatever. So is Savine's in the top 5?
Of white cards? I think it depends on if you
can we do a quick
cards.
list off? Like how far down the list is
for another episode.
we do have a series where we go over each color.
Yeah, we can.
This is true.
And one day, if we like are truly scraping the bottom of the barrel for content ideas, we might do one on white.
On white, yeah. We'll see. I think we just have to wait until white gets good cards to do the white episode, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just keep pushing it back. All right. Where are we? Are we back at Matt?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I'm actually out.
You're out?
I could pick another listener.
I have a couple left, so we could potentially just.
Do we want to feed Matt a take?
Yeah, I'm willing to. I'm fine to pass the turn.
All right.
No Zugzwang and magic.
If we're gonna do that, then this is my last take. And also potentially one of my hottest. We'll see. My final take, my potentially most powerful take, or most offensive take, we'll see, is that Kess pilots are the easiest pilots to bully.
Yeah, depth.
I think of like common and like acceptedly powerful decks, 1 pepper, but if you like, you know, Baral pilots, you know, like or like Rashmi pilots. Or...
Well, I'm not saying that Kess is the easiest deck to bully. I'm saying that Kess pilots are the easiest pilots to bully.
Guys, remember that time you didn't put Rias black? He's like, yeah, straight up, it's really easy to bully Morgan. Meanwhile, everyone's like, Morgan, you're the selfish one. Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, 1 pepper. It like
I 2.
Actually, I mean, Redshifts a Kess pilot, so maybe I have to bump that up in honor of him. But I think I'll stick with 1.
All right. So I think, Morgan, we got one last one from you.
I have 2. But,
all right.
I guess I can just say them both.
Do you want to rapid fire them?
this one probably should have just fit in with when you said your tournament take, which is there's nothing that could truly justify playing a monocolor deck.
Yeah, that's like a 2-pepper take.
Yeah, one pepper.
Like Urza's the closest, but
Yeah.
still doesn't. And I feel like this last one's also like not particularly spicy. Angel's Grace is actually unplayable outside of Xur.
Yeah, it's actually pretty. Yeah,
pepper.
that's like 2 peppers, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately couldn't end with a bang, but
1 pepper.
I should have kept the Dockside take for the last.
Why would you even...
I think I should have kept my my Behold the Beyond take for last.
This is true, actually.
Dude, why are you talking about Xur when we clearly know that Timna Sekishima is the best Esper deck?
All right. And then we have our last content creator guest take. And this comes from Timmy of the CEDH Nexus.
Hello, Into the North, guys. Hi, Spleen. Hi, Null. Hi, Noobs. Hi, Sick. I just wanted to give you guys my hot take. So I've kind of been thinking a lot lately that one of the cards that I've been finding that's been really good, that's been kind of underutilized, is Spell Snare. It hits a lot of very, very relevant things. And I think it should see more play.
So I think for me, this one's like a weird duality because like Spell Snare is. I actually considered having a hot take about Spell Snare, but then I saw this one. I was like, we don't need to. It's one of the. I think it's one of the best 1-mana counterspells for decks that are trying to stop other decks from winning.
Yeah, it's like,
but it's really not a good counterspell to protect your wins.
Yeah, it's like a terrible like active counterspell or like protective counterspell.
I think it's a great counterspell, but I don't think it's underplayed because I think it's like one of the hardest 1-mana counterspells you could play.
I think
it's very easy to use it wrong.
I think it's a great counterspell for a year ago when Flash was still legal. is my counter take on that.
Yeah, I think my original take was, dude, there was that perfect time when Flash was still legal, but Breach and Dockside had been printed.
Yeah, when you could just get anything with the Spell Snare.
But the Spell Snare take I was going to say was I'll say defensive counterspell. I know that like what people interpret that. When I say defensive, I mean you're defending yourself from
why don't we
being
just
killed.
Why don't we use protective and disruptive?
Sure. As a disruptive counterspell, Spell Snare is the 3rd best 1-mana counter, behind Flusterstorm and Swansong.
Yeah.
That was my original take, but
yeah,
we'll see with like all these ad nauseum decks, like maybe Mental Missteps up there.
All right, and then our last listener take, which is beautifully simple.
Yep.
Tegan says, Thoughtseize.
Just from the fact that I've played Thoughtseize as a deck seriously before, I'm obliged to give this a 1 pepper. Otherwise, I'm risking my own reputation.
I feel like the Gitrog has been on Thoughtseize for a long time, right? Could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming this isn't like there should be 1 or 2 non-blue decks that play Thoughtseize, you know? I think I'm gonna give this 4 peppers. I've seen way too many Thoughtseizes, like you just target the wrong person, and then it's like, oh, I Thoughtseize you, I take your only piece of interaction. Oh, that other player had 2 pieces of interaction. Like, rip.
Yeah, it's still very much a 1-for-1.
So that wraps up our main topic, and now we have a couple listener questions that we felt were pretty spicy in and of themselves. So the first one comes from Scoots, aka Scotty, and it is, can we get a null 1 mic episode?
5 peppers.
Okay, you know what? I think that Hot Takes was actually a pretty good vehicle to
Do a mailbag.
to somewhat balance out the airtime.
Makes sense. So here's the question: either how much can we get our patrons to pay us for a Matt one mic episode, or how easy is it for us to sneak into Matt's house at night and clip him with a mic to get a gorilla one mic episode?
How about this? It's a Saturday. Okay, 11 a.m. I just came back from an all expense paid massage. I'm feeling great. And I've got a motivating topic.
Matt, but you get to choose the topic for one like episode. You can do an entire episode by yourself on Mid-Power.
Okay, I'll take it.
Wait, no. I'm more new Mid-Power episodes.
I have plenty of CDH one mic episodes I could do, for sure.
But you know what?
It could happen.
Everybody listening, let us know if that's something that you're interested in. I actually feel like if
I mean, one mic episodes in general,
they're
definitely a lot easier to produce.
If people want us to do one mic episodes, let us know. I know I personally am more than happy to rant into a mic for 2 hours and just post it unedited on official channels. But yeah,
I'll just say this. My preferred means of communication, generally speaking, is through well thought out text, an article. Like if I created, a script, I could absolutely nail an awesome one mic episode. I guarantee that.
All right. Well, maybe something to look forward to? Question mark. All right. Our next listener question comes from Feral Turtle, and it's: is there any reason that green decks like Corvold would be on talismans or signets over 3 visits? And honestly, no.
Yeah, not really.
Well, okay, no. So the one reason is that 3 visits costs green is like the only actual case that I think can be made here, which is annoying though. Like mostly because you can't play it off of like a soul ring, or like you can't play
crypt
land
Post-Naz
dork
or
crypts.
Yeah.
3 visit. Well, I mean, I guess you can play land crypt 3 visits dork, but like the fact that it costs green is like annoying. But I've definitely like in decks where I've been going for like mixed ramp packages, I've definitely thrown in like, you play like Arcane Signet of Felwar Stone, like Birds and Noble Hierarch and Deathrite Shaman, and then like 3 visits and Nature's Lore is like not a bad sort of way to diversify your ramp so you don't get brutally shut off by one kind of hate.
Yeah. Especially in stuff like I know this is asking about Corvold, but I think in general, like if you're on like a Mystic Sanctuary deck, or like if you just have a Mystic Sanctuary in your deck, like yeah, just like getting more lands in play. Pretty good. Just like being able to tutor up a tropical island. Seems good to me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're tutoring for your tropical island to cast your 3 visits, but
you can also, you can get a breeding pool. You can get whatever else. You get a triome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Now that's the spiciest take: is casting your 3 visits to get a triome.
You should be playing triomes.
Actually, is the spiciest take.
Would any deck
typed
play a
lands that
triome?
cycle.
Would you ever play a triome in a deck? Can you? No. Okay.
If you
Let's
pay enough for threatening me with violence,
Let me come up with a better setup for this question. Can you come up with a situation where you would play a triome in a deck?
Arkelos.
Easy. Not a bad one. He's got a point.
I'll take my A+.
See, so what?
Actually, I think I'm more likely to play it in a non-green deck because you're much less likely to have a turn 1 play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would play it in any deck that's like where very often you just play land pass on turn 1 is like...
So how about like a is there a Grixis Triumph? There isn't, right?
No, there isn't. I guess realistically that means the Jeskai one is the most likely, but then is there a Triumph? There's
I can imagine.
So I guess realistically the Mardu one is the
most likely. Yeah.
The problem is that like Mardu as an archetype is not like, or like Mardu doesn't really have the tools to enable slow decks very well, but like Mardu is the color combination that's least likely to have
turn
something that
plays,
it wants to do on turn 1, which I think is what you want to make Triumphs playable.
You'd also, if there was a Grixis Triumph, and I'm assuming we are probably getting one at some point, you could possibly justify playing it in like a Consult plus Doomsday deck, where like you want the island density, and you're also like fairly reasonably fetching it on turn 1.
Dovetails with Leptus's High Tide hot take.
Yep, exactly.
Dude, how can I play a Tainted Pact High Tide mana base?
No, you're not getting it. How do I play a Tainted Pact High Tide Doomsday mana base? Triumphs, baby.
You don't.
It just takes triumphs. You just gotta bite the bullet, play a couple of tap lands, and you're good to go. Now the follow-up to that is you guys asking, but is that really a mana base? Can you call a Triumph mana base a mana base? But then again, also, I just want to tack on here is that we all missed the opportunity to still playing 3 visits, and in fact going even deeper on that and playing Into the Norths, so that we can corner the market on Into the Norths and get free shilling.
Oh, yeah, right. And did we mention that one of our Patreon rewards is assigned into the...
I mean, that wasn't a joke. It actually is true.
All right.
Oh my god,
well,
guys.
I think that about wraps it up for this episode. If you guys would like to reach out to us with any questions, comments, or concerns, you can contact us on Twitter at Into the North Pod, via our email at intothenorthpodcast@gmail.com, or on our Discord server, the invite link for which can be found in the description of this episode. An extra special thanks to all of our patrons who help cover the expenses for our show and allow us to work towards improving the quality of the podcast. If you too would like to become a patron, we are at patreon.com/IntoTheNorthPodcast. Another way you can support us is via our TCG Player affiliate link. Anytime you want to purchase something from TCG Player, if you use our affiliate link, which is in the podcast/YouTube description, a portion of your purchase goes towards supporting the podcast. Thank you as always to the band Vox Cadre for our lovely podcast music, to Nate Slover for our equally lovely podcast logo, and to our long-suffering podcast editor Roadkill. Next episode will be out in 2 weeks. Until then, see ya.
What if I want to become a Patreon, though?
What if I want to sign Into the North? Nice.
You're not gonna say goodbye? Alright.
No.
Okay, actually, bye.
That was our sign off.